There we go. So we don't really need a picture for us, but it should be. Seems like the owl is not working. Do you mind? Nothing. I don't have a replacement.
What happened to our old owl?
This is our old.
Oh, what happened to our new owl?
I don't actually know. I can check the tech closet. Last Tuesday, I didn't accept this.
Part of the cover up. Right.
Yes, this is part of the conspiracy.
Just putting all the text into my mind.
We can.
We can.
Technically having, I mean, we posted with a Zoom link.
Yeah.
We can always say that, you know, there was technical difficulties that prevented us from, but the doors opened.
Yeah.
It was posted that it was in person.
And it can't record without the owl.
Can't record but nothing.
So you can't record our voices.
Minutes are, as the city solicitor said, regardless, minutes are always the official record of any meeting.
Okay.
Trying on the computer, see if it's the actual device of it. I am so sorry. I do not know why. We're gonna have to stop and start the meeting if this works. No. Yeah.
We didn't loan her out, did we?
Floor used it. She might have changed a setting that I don't know about. She used it with her Spanish language book group. Let's see if it'll work.
You edit yours with the red.
Sure.
Have you made changes? No.
Yeah. Let me check participants. It's just us. I cannot record it and oh, wait. That's the noise we wanted.
Okay.
So I just dropped the power. Is it a power issue?
Lights are on, the eyes.
Yeah, but not the right way. That
Okay.
pulsing isn't correct.
Okay.
It should be a steady flow. No, that's not right at all. Try that. That's better. It's in, we're live. Oh my gosh. Thank you for your patience, everyone. Much more exciting than it needed to be.
Okay, I have it as 6:06. I'd like to call the meeting to order. First order on the item on the agenda is the roll call.
Okay, Gary Gorski,
Here.
Kristen Hansen, Kristen Donahue.
Here.
Good, good. Thanks, Kevin. Do we have any visitors, any public visitors?
No.
Okay. So then the next item on the agenda is a statement of purpose. We're here today just to try to finalize some wording on a statement from the board of directors on the situation, the ongoing situation with the archival center volunteers and then the volunteer program overall. The intention is to come up with something that reflects the board's feelings on this topic and communicates to our stakeholders what our intentions are going forward to help improve the situation. We have a draft version that was proposed, and then we've gotten some feedback. We've incorporated some changes from the mayor's chief of staff. We also, since the proposal was originally submitted, we also got a recommendation from the city council, which has some additional feedback. And then Kristen, you and I are just kind of work through some of those things and see if we can land on a final version that we feel comfortable with sharing out to the public.
Yes. And I also wrote a very short draft of a letter, which
Okay.
is also.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Is that included?
it's also going to be on screen.
Oh, great, okay. Okay. Because I am open to just kind of walking through, maybe kind of talking about the two different versions we have and seeing, what parts we like. I write longer, so that's why mine goes for several paragraphs. I started out trying to just give a summary of what I thought was the situation with the library, the background on it, a brief one. Second paragraph, I tried to address that there were certainly people that were affected, but overall it's not a huge part of our constituency. And I thought it was important to mention that the library staff continued to deliver high quality service, even with this situation going on. So that was my intention with that part of the draft that I had originally written. The next paragraph, I wanted to kind of make it clear that what the board's responsibility is in this situation. We're not responsible for personnel matters, we're not responsible for day-to-day operations of the library, right? Our primary job is to appoint the head librarian, to monitor the head librarian's oversight of the library, and to make sure that things are operating as well as they can. So that was kind of my intention with that paragraph. And then, trying to close that we acknowledge that people were impacted and trying to figure out what we can do going forward to help.
Okay. I guess when I was thinking about it, just how apologies can be effective in general, but sometimes with an explanation, it doesn't feel like we're totally focused on the impact, and that apologies in general seem to be more effective if they're just addressing you were hurt and we don't want you to be, we're upset that you're hurt. We feel you're hurt and we hear that you're hurt. I do think there's obviously so many complexities, and I think those are relevant. But I am wondering what our purpose of this is. Is our purpose to let people know that we are sorry for what their experience? That to me, it seems like some of that extra stuff just sort of takes away from the power of that message, which is so that there are people who are hurting, and we want to let them know we hear that they're hurting, and we're sorry that they're hurting. And so I guess that's what, like, even though those other things are relevant, I don't know if they're relevant to our main goal of this message.
Hmm. Yeah, and I guess I wasn't sure like how committed we were to the apology part
Yeah,
of the situation. Again, as the library board,
yeah,
I don't know what actions we took
yeah,
necessarily that would, require the board to issue an apology. My recollection of the time was that the former head librarian had asked us to review the volunteer policy,
yeah,
and we did that. She made a recommendation, and we didn't support that recommendation. We asked for more time to consider options and kind of learn more. One of the serving board members at the time was, but were
I
you?
was not
Yeah,
here, yeah,
so one of the board members at the time was a volunteer as
Yeah.
well, and, she spoke passionately about the work that the volunteers did.
Yeah.
And I think the board wanted to really incorporate that, that opinion in how we decided to move forward, and we didn't want to rush the process. And then not long after, the head librarian resigned,
Mhm.
and then we were left to kind of pick up the pieces. So from my perspective, I felt like we as the board were trying to be considerate of the
Yeah.
volunteers' concerns and their comments, but also, part of what I feel we have to do as the board is to make it a place that our staff wants to work as well. Right? So,
Yeah,
I think that's a important group that we have to be mindful of, right? Again,
Yeah.
that stakeholder concept, right? We
Yeah.
have the volunteers, we
Yeah.
have all city residents, we have the administration of the library, taxpayers, but also the library staff, right? I mean,
Right.
it's important that we make sure that the library staff wants to come to work, right? That every place that works in the city should make sure that their employees feel valued and listened to.
Yeah.
So to me,
100%. Yeah,
that's the tension, and I guess I don't know like what the right line is there,
Yeah.
right? Like just to apologize for the volunteers who've been impacted, and certainly they were, so I don't want to say that they weren't, that's not my
Yeah.
intention,
yeah,
right? Is there some other side of that that makes somebody else feel like they've been slighted or they've been misrepresented?
yeah, I totally hear what you're saying, and I guess I'm wondering, I don't necessarily feel that an apology is some sort of admission of guilt. I think you could be apologizing for a situation, apologizing that something's happening without being anybody's fault. So I guess, maybe the apology isn't the right word. Maybe there's a different, like, where we realize we're aware of the situation, where, is there a way to say we wish, we're different?
Mhm.
And I definitely don't want it to be like choosing a side or something like that. I don't. And I also feel like that it seems to me that our response and our apology, or our response that we run right now, is something about that has to do with what happened with the investigation and what's been going on. And is this part, I mean, is offering some sort of comment about how these volunteers are feeling, is that going to take away from us totally believing in the staff of the library? Does it feel like that could have happened?
I don't know, I would think there are a lot of
Right,
bad feelings
right,
for everybody involved, right?
yeah,
But maybe one of the ways that we could proceed, right, is to
Yeah.
move up an acknowledgement
yeah,
of the injury that the
Okay.
volunteers felt, right?
okay,
And then maybe get back into what our responsibility is as the board,
yeah,
right? Our limited responsibility, the limited narrow scope that we
Yes.
have over the situation.
Mhm.
And then the city council had some recommendations for us receiving additional training
Right.
and like, you know, what actions, what steps we could take
Right,
as a board to be better prepared to handle a future situation.
yes,
I
okay,
don't know what options we have to address beyond, you know,
Right.
acknowledging the feelings that the
Yeah.
volunteers have.
yeah,
You know, I mean, we can work with the administration to try and make sure that the archival center is vibrant, dynamic, welcoming, well-staffed,
Mhm.
ideally well-funded, which is
Yeah.
probably beyond, you know, the conversation that we can have here today.
yes,
So maybe that's a way to move forward here tonight.
okay,
Is to kind of put some emphasis early on that we're acknowledging that feeling.
yes, and I think also, as to your point, to acknowledge that a lot of people have are feeling upset about the situation and that it's impacting a lot of the stakeholders. I think it's a good part of the letter as well. So. Does that mean moving?
Yeah, because I'm wondering if there's a way to incorporate kind of some of what you've written as draft 2 into the early part of what I've written as draft 1.
Do you want me to just take the whole thing?
Would it? Um. Just trying to look at that last paragraph that you wrote. So. It feels. That maybe. I noticed in your draft, you said. Deserve an apology, as members of the board, we prefer to volunteers who deserve an apology.
And again, events on the ground have changed since I
Yes.
drafted that, right? So
Yeah.
the mayor has issued an apology,
Okay.
right? So like we could have wording that said something like, we fully support the mayor's apology to the
Yeah.
volunteers who were impacted,
Okay,
right?
sure, well, yes, that sounds good.
Sorry, I'm not used to the keyboard. We fully support the mayor's.
Apology. To the volunteers, to the archival center volunteers. Whose reputations were damaged. And is that the right word?
And do you want to say archival volunteers there?
You can try that. The archival center volunteers, right? So maybe that's like a kind of a lead for us even, right?
Mhm.
You want that at the beginning?
We can move it to the beginning and then see what happens.
Okay.
We can't do the actual first sentence, but.
It is now.
I mean, we could have something as simple as, you know, as members of the board of the library board of directors, would
Yeah.
like to address the ongoing,
Yes,
whatever that next sentence is, the very corner of it.
It's actually library.
We'd like to address the ongoing situation with the archival center volunteers. So I mean, we could even say something, we could address our different stakeholders
yeah,
directly, right? We could
Yeah.
say first,
yes,
we fully support the mayor's apology to the archival center volunteers whose reputations were damaged. Second, we'd like to acknowledge the staff and their service,
Yeah,
their commitment to delivering high quality service throughout this difficult time. I don't know if that sounds too pro
And
staff.
Want to acknowledge the staff and their dedication to providing service. What? I miss,
Yeah, to their dedication to providing high quality service
High-
in this difficult time. Not too dramatic during this difficult time,
no, I don't think so. I think percent probably is.
contentious.
Yeah. Contentious stuff, yeah, the contentious stuff.
I don't know how to spell that, I'll be honest.
Yeah, you'll just in some letters and then. check it for you.
Contentious.
Very good.
Oh,
Yeah,
Under the bonus room.
so we. I even think that sentence kind of still works. Ongoing situation. Continues to be complicated, just.
so now it's what,
to address. Or that could be a new paragraph, perhaps.
We could say something like, we'd like to ensure the entire community that we are dedicated to working to ensure the library remains a welcoming place. Just freelance in here. For all patrons and visitors. So that's the
It's
thought.
called here.
That's this thought, right? That's kind of this, that's kind of the thought there, right? Like
Yeah.
we're trying to address two constituency groups that were most directly impacted. We want to
Yeah.
let the rest of the broader community know that we are here, we're aware of the situation, we're doing what we can within our limited scope to help improve the
May I
situation. in the
first
future.
suggestion to that sentence? Mentioning something regarding uh, a working, the kind of working environment for the staff. That we are dedicated to ensuring the library remains a welcoming place for all patrons and visitors, and the word is escaping me, but hospital working environment.
Positive working
Or
environment.
yeah.
Yeah.
Works, yeah.
So.
So rather than we want to, we are continuing to work to assure, right? Make that language maybe a little bit stronger. To work. Instead of want.
To work to assure, yeah.
And 11.
that's a,
Yeah, sure, and sure.
So maybe can you control Z that out? And
You could
then,
also just say we're continuing to work to ensure.
but
the
if
library
you,
remains.
if you get rid of what we just changed, just control Z all that, right? And then we have a next sentence that says, we're committed to working to, and now this is where we get into what we want to do going forward, right?
Right, which is, and they want us to.
So maybe that's
So
even,
keep it
we
on.
will continue to work to fulfill our responsibilities by attending trainings,
yeah.
whatever the recommendations were.
Understanding our role. With regard to that.
You might want to say understanding our role and the purview to library operations.
Ah,
Yeah, I think there's definitely some language to come here about what our responsibilities are, right? Like, I think we want to make a clear statement that we are
Yeah.
not responsible for personnel management issues. We're not responsible for day-to-day operations, right? I don't know what the language was on the first draft.
yeah, you probably have it already written.
So I think that kind of wording, maybe not
Yeah.
exactly what I had the first time, but something like that, right? No role in personnel matters related to union staff or day-to-day library operations. We're not equipped to conduct, we don't have to get into the investigation because that's sort of
Yeah.
done. I think
So
something
you
along
want
those lines, right? Like, I think we make that clear in whatever that next sentence is.
In that, we're making that clear because we think people might. Think we could have done something, the library board could have.
Correct.
Yeah, it's a statement of record, right?
Yeah.
Like, part of our
Yeah.
purpose, right, is to address the specific immediate situation, right? But it's
Yeah.
also a great opportunity to remind the community
Yeah,
of what our charge is.
yeah,
Right, our charge is not to run the operation, our
Yeah.
charge is not to second guess every decision that gets made. We're not
Yeah.
here to check the catalogs, we're not here to decide what gets kept in the collection and what gets discarded. Right.
yes, right,
We're here to manage the administration, to oversee that.
yeah,
The administration is accountable to us as the board, and then that is our charge.
Yeah.
So I mean, maybe even something as simple as, right, as the library board of directors, we have no immediate role in personnel matters. I don't know, is that different, better? I think it's the same. These would be alternatives for that one sentence.
we want to. Visitors,
So I think there's something that might work there. I don't know that it's in the right order. But just.
Is that what you're saying?
I was just saying, patrons. Are we
Patrons are
If we're-
visitors.
also wanting to include volunteers in that sentence, or a welcoming space as part of our add?
Well,
Right.
a positive work environment for the staff and volunteers, maybe? Does that make sense? No? Different? Okay.
I don't know, maybe welcoming for volunteers, positive work environment for the staff. Well, patrons, visitors,
Okay, so maybe just all patrons and volunteers, as well as a positive work environment for the staff. Maybe we could change that next sentence, make it stronger, right? We are committed to working. We are committed to fulfilling our charge. Our responsibility, our duties, our oversight responsibilities.
is it? Is it worth addressing something about the expectation or hope that everyone is going to be sort of approaching these, difficult moments with grace for others, and sort of, that we're gonna be, that we're, sort of value treating people with respect and kindness throughout this time. Is that something we could add in there?
I don't want to come out against kindness.
Yes, okay.
Yeah, we could try. I mean, we
Okay.
can throw something like that.
And I don't know if that's something you've already sort of mentioned in yours.
Yeah, I think just in the close, I had something kind of more broad, like,
Okay.
move forward, help the library move forward.
Yeah. Um,
Did I miss something here or oversight? You were throwing duties.
Yeah.
There were a
I
lot of
don't think
words
we have-
coming.
I don't think we have quite, okay. Yeah, I think probably a little ways away from that.
and Gary, are you thinking the first two paragraphs could be the whole thing? Like, we're kind of starting over almost with those two, or is there more after this?
I don't know, I guess like one thing maybe is, do we have to discuss the city council investigation?
Mhm.
I mean, we're not required to.
Yeah.
I talked to Christian
Yeah.
clear about that. and
Okay.
He made it clear that, his recommendation was possibly include
Okay,
mention of the mayor's actions and the city council's actions. But we're the board and we're not the city council, so we can make a call on whether to include that or not.
This is the one that. we're
Is-
talking
So I guess I was thinking like, if we feel comfortable and maybe we broaden or whatever workshop that first paragraph.
yeah,
And then we include the second paragraph that includes kind of a clarity of statement from us,
Yeah.
right? This is what we are responsible for, and we will do what we are responsible for. And
Yes.
that includes additional training,
right,
and we can include that wording, right? And then we include that summary sentence at the end, we offer our guidance and work at the library, at the library move forward. I think we could maybe just get
okay, I like that,
all of this.
yeah,
Workshop this,
this, yeah,
and then we just maybe run with.
okay. Sounds good.
And so I don't know if you have more thoughts on that first paragraph. I mean, obviously, that's probably like the core of what. Right, that the first paragraph seems to be what the stakeholders
Yes,
would want to hear, right? The second paragraph to me seems like the things that we feel like we need to say to make clear about what our
Yeah.
role is. And then there's some sort of summary language as a third part.
okay,
I mean, I don't know if we need a second sentence about the Kaiba Center volunteers. They certainly gave an incredible amount of time
Mhm.
to the city. They served many countless patrons, right? I think it's probably safe to say with what little we know from the investigation that we learned that when we say volunteers, it's a big group.
Yeah.
And the people that were problematic in whatever way they were
Mhm.
is a much narrower, smaller group.
right,
I don't know if there's a way to address that. So I don't know if there's another thing that we can say there about the volunteers.
almost like it as it is right there, that we're recognized. Recording that apology that they're. To validate the experience of the people who were hurt and, then recognizing how important it is for the staff to have a positive working environment and, or sort of highlighting that the staff continue to provide high quality service. So, and then I think, that opening sentence is good. And then I feel like we need to sort of just workshop that bottom part.
Okay.
Does that feel okay for you?
Sure.
Okay.
Kind of a hot button thing, but we fully support the mayor's overdue apology.
We don't have to do that.
No sense of picking a fight where we don't need to.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay, so the second, where it says second, we want to acknowledge the staff and their dedication to providing high quality service. I'm not sure if I like this during this contentious time, right? For continuing, what if we just said continuing
yes.
for their
Like,
ongoing,
continued,
for their ongoing efforts to deliver high quality service? Like, does that seem a little bit better?
and then ongoing efforts to provide,
High quality service.
out of the home, or in all circumstances, or just leave it there?
I don't know, what do you think?
Second, we want to acknowledge the staff, and their ongoing efforts to provide high quality service. Actually, I think that's good.
Is that to anodyne, high quality service, like, is there different more? I mean, that the intent, right, is to acknowledge that they
Right.
did remain
Yes,
professional. And
professional.
they're dealing with all the public, right, I mean, in my first draft, I tried to make it clear that. A group of people were deeply and profoundly impacted,
Yeah,
unfair,
yeah,
right? But for the vast majority of our city,
yeah,
people came to the library, they had the usual fantastic
Amazing
experience
experience,
that they have when they came to the library on any other day.
This was a sentence that you had used before. Is that what you're?
okay, yeah, try it there.
So maybe we want to acknowledge the staff who continue to deliver a high level of professional and courteous service to patrons that come.
Okay, great.
Did I get that right?
Do we have to have something, do we have to have some time frame to go with continued? Staff who have continued to deliver the high level of professional courteous service the patrons have come to expect and appreciate.
The staff has, or do we not?
I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
Maybe just continue, staff who continue to deliver, not who have continued, right? So I think that, right, I mean, to me, that paragraph seems a little better, a little tighter.
Yes, I like that.
Okay.
Take this one out? Was
Yeah,
that what
I would
the
say-
pick was? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, because we are trying to acknowledge that the volunteers were impacted,
Yeah,
and again, you know, they contributed quite a lot.
Hmm?
And then we want to also acknowledge the staff.
Are you saying we want to say we thank them? Like, is that what you're adding?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't meaning that. I was
I'm sorry.
just trying to summarize the thought, I guess.
Misunderstood.
It's really change. So we think for now, that's a reason, the
Yeah.
first paragraph.
yes,
So I guess in the second one, right, like. Do we need to do something that addresses like a plan for the archival center going forward? Like, does that need to be included in this, or do we just more broadly say? Training and. I'm not sure what else the city council had recommended they would do. I think there's some specific actions there.
yeah, there's some. I don't know if there's some training specific to understanding.
Formal review of human resources policy related.
Well, that's not
to-
us.
That's
The
not.
bottom one,
Yeah,
very.
it said, formal review of the role defined in the city charter and Massachusetts state law, as well as available resources to better understand specifically the role of oversight and support of the archival center in the past and move forward. To me, that seems a little strong.
Yeah.
I feel like we have the resources available to us. I feel like many of us, and maybe not all of us, have reviewed the resources, attended in-person training. I've had conversations with a series of head librarians about. So I think some of that we can incorporate here in this part about what our role in this is. I guess I'm just not sure exactly what. Maybe Jessica, can you lift that language from the so that we can't.
I could if you give me, I can try typing it up. We'll just be tolerant while I.
But maybe it
Yeah,
was.
maybe if you look at draft 2, then there might be the language.
As a board, we are committed to deepening our understanding of our role in oversight and support of the archival center, even though as maybe,
This one?
as we mentioned, our role.
Oh, you just want this part here.
is
We are
more-
committed. Gotcha. I'm with you now.
Maybe we need to, that.
Is that to replace this one here?
Yeah, again, the second paragraph is kind of more theory at this point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're farther away from the
Yeah.
actual thing.
Could you put that yellow sentence at the first sentence? Could that be the first sentence of the second?
I'll do that right now.
Thank you. I understand the oversight, the board's oversight of the library?
Yes,
Okay.
that's what Christian was referring to.
Board.
Do you want me to get rid of the yellow? Is that distracting?
No, I'm not. I'm maybe not quite sure how much of this we want to keep.
Okay.
Will we work directly with the Mass Board of Library Commissioners, or we'll find training through the?
Yeah,
right?
they
So-
provide, I mean, I don't know that the public would necessarily need to know the Mass Library Board of Commissioners, right? Like, we will. I guess we need to probably just, land on what it is exactly we want to say here, like,
Right.
what do we want to say, right? I think the things that to me are important in this paragraph about the board's role. We want to be clear about what our responsibilities are.
Yes.
Right, I think that's a point of clarification that would be helpful for the communities,
Yeah,
right? And then we have to discuss how we move forward.
yeah,
What is our action item, right? What is our task, our takeaway, our to-do
yes,
from this, right? And then maybe that's where we can get into, additional training from the Mass Library Board of Commissioners, work with the administration, or fully review the charter.
okay,
I mean, maybe that's something we should add to a September or October
Mhm.
meeting.
Right.
It's like a more full-throated review of what the charter
Mhm.
is, what our responsibilities are.
yes,
So that's like the action item,
Mhm.
right? So even like board responsibilities, that's like purview to
Right.
me, right?
yeah,
And I just don't know what's the order, what's the emphasis. We
Yeah.
need something introductory there.
yes,
That we want to assure the entire community. I think that's relevant and maybe closer to the bottom of this paragraph, right? That seems almost more like a summary kind of statement along the lines of, maybe for me, there, So I don't know if the first sentence in this needs to be, as the library board of directors. Our responsibilities are limited in the sense, again, it was frequent instance, so I don't even know if you have to type any of this, right?
Save yourself.
Yeah, right.
yeah,
So as the library board of directors, right, our responsibilities are limited to oversight of the library administration,
yes.
something like that,
Period.
right? Not exactly, right,
But
but something
pretty
like
close,
that,
yeah.
right? And then, as clarification, we are not responsible for, maybe this is like a semicolon kind of sentence, right? We are
Yeah.
not responsible for personnel matters, whatever those things were that we listed, right?
Yes,
So now we're kind of stating our turf, right? We are this, we have a role in this, right? We could have advocated more strongly for the volunteers
Yes.
at any point in the last, whatever it is, 2 years. right? We
Yes.
could have gone to the mayor,
right,
we could have done, right?
yeah,
We could have done something more than just finally doing this, right?
yes,
So I don't know if we include that as
yeah.
something. Do you think that's worthwhile or not?
I'm just double checking our participants. We're good.
I mean, one sentence I did have is like the regret for delay in addressing this issue. Part of an apology is expressing regret, in addition to saying. We just intended to me.
So I mean, can we pull that sentence, the regret sentence?
The whole thing?
Yeah, I don't know where in that paragraph we're working on that goes necessarily. Or can you put it, actually, sorry, can you put in that outline purview and then regret maybe? As the next, a break here, so,
Where?
can you break that onto another line, it's like a fourth bullet item? Yeah. Right, so maybe this is the shape of this paragraph. right?
Yes, yeah.
So our responsibilities, a statement of regret, a plan to move forward.
Yes,
And then some sort of summary statement, a couple that we have here. No. We can help with community moving forward. Does that seem reasonable? Does that
Yes,
seem-
yeah.
Okay. So we have to nail down our responsibilities.
yes,
You seem to be struggling with that, right?
yeah,
So maybe it starts out with while we are not, like, that's kind of that backhanded way to go about it,
Sure.
right?
we are responsible
We
for,
are, okay.
yeah, we are responsible for them.
I'm sorry. For the,
We are responsible for. Oversight of the things.
Do you have a sense, do you have a
Yeah.
sense of what the actual wording is of
Yeah.
our charge?
it's just the selection of the hiring. You
Yeah.
can't even, you don't even have the oversight of him once he's hired.
So hiring.
And
So we could say selection, right?
Yeah.
Selection. And council.
well, you're responsible for the proper functioning of the library through the library director.
So that could be the oversight, right?
Yeah,
We are responsible for the selection, so we could maybe move oversight out, right? And oversight of library
the
operations.
head librarians,
The head librarian's oversight.
okay, I have librarians
To interpret
operations.
this, we look at it.
Yeah.
Supervision of library.
Yes, supervision,
operations.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so that, I mean, even that, right, is that our charge? Like, do
Yeah.
we have? I mean, you report to us, right? And so there's like a holding of account.
Right, if I am not performing my job
Yes.
well,
Had-
then there's, sorry,
Designation of library trustees, I have the
Yeah.
Should,
text, mayor and city council shall be trustees of the public library in the city and as such shall have and exercise a general supervision over its affairs.
okay,
And a
So I
general
think it's-
supervision
and a
of its-
general supervision of the head librarians.
do we even need to include that verbatim language, right? I think
Yeah.
that oversight of the head librarian, supervision of library operation, that seems.
Okay, yeah.
Does that seem reasonable? I mean, that seems like in line with what
Yeah.
our charge is, right?
Yeah. And then, yes, do you want to include we are not responsible for personnel or just,
I think we need to make that clear, right?
okay, so semicolon, we are not
Or,
responsible.
or even separate sentence, right?
Okay.
I mean. We're not responsible for, I don't know what the language was in the first draft that I submitted and seemed like we might have. Well, I think you already lifted it up there, but we can workshop it, right?
Sorry, go
I
back.
think it's in the day-to-day library operations, personal matters,
This one.
related to staff.
You want me to take it from here and put it here?
Yeah, and then we can see what we said.
Great, yeah, that's good.
So maybe it should be something like. The board's charge does not include. Personnel matters relating to union staff or day-to-day library operations. So,
Yeah,
Mhm.
and then I almost feel like that next sentence works, some form of that next sentence. You know, that we hear this recommendation. And recognize there's some, we could. Learn, discover more about. Our,
so that's
The
telling the
responsibility.
community that we're doing. Under interpretation,
Yeah.
could be we're telling the community that the city council told us to do this, and that's why we're doing. this.
I see, yeah,
I'm not saying that's the way
Yeah.
everybody would read it, right? But
it's possible to read it.
I
that
think
way.
it's safe to say that in our discussions as a board over the past however many
Yeah.
months. We have felt a need to do these things that they are recommending,
Yes, okay,
so, maybe something like in accordance with the city council's recommendation. I don't wanna like, I'm not saying like we can't mention them,
okay. But
but I feel like the board independently.
it's true, yes.
Oh,
Maybe we are in agreement with. Their recommendation that there is more to learn, more,
Yeah,
something like that.
um,
there is some accordance.
Take time to
To
more.
deepen our understanding of our.
I mean, honestly, I feel like we have a fairly good grasp of our role, like,
Yeah.
I mean, deepening our understanding, like, I don't think that was the problem.
Yeah.
Right? I don't think there was a failure to understand. I don't think there was something in the
Yeah.
charter, that
Yeah,
if we had only read the charter,
Yeah,
we would have
okay.
had the answer to
Yeah.
this. And then everything would be fixed, right? I mean, I certainly don't think it's bad for us to get a refresher, a better
Yeah.
understanding on things.
but and then is it to dig deeper into. You know. Understanding. The issues occurring at the library that are impacting. Public or something, I don't know if that's, I mean, that in your comment of, could have done more to. Right, for volunteers or, is that,
Right, so you're saying some recognition of that.
Yes,
Regret, it's the regret statement
Right.
now, like, right, that we should have taken more action.
yes,
So maybe something like, however, we fully realize that we could have, again, I'm not sure this exact wording, right, that we could have taken action sooner to address this matter
yes,
publicly.
okay.
About that. Um,
I missed the first part. What were you saying? We regret?
no, I think
the
I was
beginning,
fine. I
okay.
think yeah, we did. So that's our statement.
Yes,
Oh.
We
Okay.
realize that we
I'm with
could
you
have
now.
taken action sooner to publicly address this matter.
and then, yeah, we can delete the yellow part, right?
Yeah.
Oh, not that top yellow though, right?
Yeah.
We're leaving that, okay.
Just,
To address this matter in hopes of something, right? Of finding a resolution that would satisfy all parties.
Are you adding that to that?
Yeah,
Where
that's
does it
something
matter?
that we fully realize. We fully realize that we could have taken action sooner to publicly address this matter
And.
in the hopes of,
Bringing it to a resolution.
something little saying, something, I said something more than it.
you did, and I
Okay.
missed it. Sorry.
Time machine. Address this matter in hopes of.
We could have taken action sooner. It looks like it's sentence better without in the hopes of bringing to a resolution, but maybe I just feel like that's understood. Is it possible to take out that next couple of sentences to right before that B that you're in? Yeah.
We just cut those and put them somewhere else.
Done?
Yeah.
Thank you.
What if we said something, and this kind of seems a little self-serving, right? But if we said, I had something in here, I lost it, but I was gonna say something that despite our limited role, we realize we could have taken action sooner. Like that idea, right? I'm putting a qualifier in there that
Yeah.
like, this wasn't really our thing directly, but we still could have done something else. We still could have taken action.
Is that to replace this one right here?
I'm thinking maybe if you put that at the front of that?
And then
Yeah,
this,
something like that, right? I don't know if you have to make any changes yet. That's just like the thought of an idea.
I'm wondering too, if we should put that, we are in agreement with city council's recommendation to take time to deepen our understanding. I wonder if we should put that after that sentence. Between
Yeah,
Singer and we.
right. So that kind of bridges those two thoughts, right? Like we're stating what our role is, and then we're also kind of setting up the apology part. The regret part, right?
there,
Yeah, I just don't know if those, where's there's none. It's kind of saying we realized we're taking action sooner, and now we're saying what we're gonna do, right? Since we are in agreement. So like, this is our next steps sentence.
Yeah, the
Okay.
action.
Do you agree with that move, Gary, or no?
So what if we said something here, right? I like the idea of it,
Yeah.
but I don't like this agreement with city council, but what if, you know, after. And just an idea, right, of something.
Yeah.
After getting feedback from city council, the mayor, patrons, the staff, and the agreed volunteers, we will action. Right?
Okay.
So I'm
that
saying that
what
like,
we're doing?
that we
Sorry.
did a listening,
Okay,
like, we took in the feedback
Yes.
from, and then we named several of the parties
yeah,
that were
okay,
involved.
yeah,
We will take action, we will take this action, we will do this,
okay,
right? So we're making it more our own agency,
okay,
right? Because we were actively engaged with the community, we weren't just sitting there not doing anything.
okay,
We listened to people, we communicated with the public. We had volunteers attend our meetings, we listened to the administration.
yeah,
We're aware of the staff's needs, right? Having taken all that in, we are committed to doing whatever that thing is that we are committed to doing. in the
Yeah.
past. Getting more training, we're doing charter,
yes, yeah, I think that's good to be reviewing the charter and needing more training.
just et cetera, just.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
again, this is just the idea of
Right.
something, right? This is to me a way that we could make it seem, not seem, like represent the fact that
yeah,
we have been participating.
Right.
Sorry, we've been engaged with all the stakeholders,
Yes.
right? It's not like we woke up today, and, whoa, geez,
Right.
this thing has been out of control, right?
right,
We've been active participants. We might not have been great actors, we might not have been the best actors,
yeah,
but we're aware,
yeah,
right?
You're putting this one down here in our storage
Okay.
component. And that was to replace that one.
So, sorry, what was it?
I just removed the sentence that you guys were worked to replace it with this one, confirming.
Yeah,
I don't think we need that.
Okay.
And I make a recommendation,
Yeah.
instead of saying city hall, maybe city administration.
Got it.
Cause that's who you were listening, you weren't listening to a building, you were
Yeah.
listening to a city.
Mhm.
And an and before.
So maybe.
I thought there might be more.
yeah, okay,
I thought, I didn't know how long this list was gonna be.
It could be. Much. So maybe get rid of that after. Start listening swiftly,
Got it.
and maybe, I don't know, over the past several months, we have received feedback. I don't know if we need to go that far. That's me making it longer instead of shorter. I'm supposed to be in a word that makes it shorter instead of longer, but. If you think that's helpful, we could include that, right? But we've received feedback from. And I don't know if we just run the list, if we say key stakeholders, including, and then we run the list.
okay,
And in whatever order we think is most important, right, we could. include.
And one of the things, a movie, cast, they always have the two most important kind of at the beginning and end.
okay,
And starring. And introducing.
Mhm.
That's one through.
So in here, you've got the former volunteers at the beginning and the library staff at the end.
okay.
So you're bookmarking it with.
Yeah.
Do you think the library staff will take it that way? Or will they feel like you put us fourth, so does that mean we are least important? Should we go alphabetically?
Please do the people,
Oh, no.
I think they'll notice. Let's look at it differently then. Let's see what it looks like.
I mean, if you put the staff, I would say in terms of aggrievement, you would go library volunteers 1. Library staff 2. And then there's no agreement from City Hall and City Council, we're just getting feedback from,
and their outfit.
I like it.
Then after, we received feedback from these 3 folders.
So maybe the
Feedback.
after was after receiving, is that what it was originally, do you think?
Okay.
Yeah, that's probably better.
Receiving feedback, yeah. We.
So this is becoming quite a long sentence, right? So do we say something like, we will do the following,
To taking action or something, we're committed to taking action,
And then you can say,
we will,
we will,
yeah,
that way you're able to split the sentence.
yeah. We will engage in more training, review of our charter, and then we have to think of something else that we're planning to do. Continue to discuss.
Yeah, you're committed to taking actions that we can do better than that, right? Yeah, it's definitely some sort of action, I just don't know what the
Maybe
exact.
committed to moving forward. And the moving forward part is we will,
I like holding the forward thing for move the library forward at the end. So maybe
That's
we
a
should
solid
find-
ending.
yeah.
I think this might be what if this was a we will? Yeah, and then I did those 2 words, you guys can.
I think that we will. What's a synonym for act?
We have recommitted to,
Take action, take initiative, move, make a move, react, proceed, go ahead.
Proceed. Proceed, something, we need more than that word. See, I'm continuing to involve. Take steps to, what was that ensure thing? Are we doing that? We're doing that after. Step,
we take steps.
Is that what you mean? Is that what you're trying to say?
I was gonna say.
I meant-
If we could flesh that out, because
Yeah.
we will take steps to try and improve the situation, that's a better word.
Yeah.
to-
Grow, to,
learn from this experience.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
there we go.
Can we remove from before former volunteers?
Done.
Because I'm not saying we spoke to all of them. We
Yeah.
just spoke, we received feedback from several.
Review our charter. And I mean, keep this topic the forefront of this topic
And provide guidance to the library administration.
regarding regarding the archival center.
That moves beyond your purview.
Okay.
Serve as a sounding board for the administration.
Because that is a lot of why I bring things to you is to gather,
Right.
perspective as the members of the community who are charged with
Yeah.
supervising general review of the operations.
And should we say for library administration, with respect to the archival center, Since that's what we're talking about, or no?
I think broad might be better here.
Okay. Okay.
We will engage in more training, undertake additional training, we will pursue additional training, we will.
Pursue additional training, yeah, I like that, pursue.
I don't know if that's exactly right, but I don't know that we want to, I don't know that that was the right.
Why can't I spell pursue? How do
SUE,
SUE? Thank you.
sorry.
Just having a moment. I'm like, this, none of these look right because they're wrong.
Maybe we remove, what if we said review our charter, that's an easy one. If we made that first.
In is not after pursue, we don't need it.
We'll review the city charter. Pursue additional training. And continue to serve as, and
Yeah.
continue to
Yeah.
serve. We want to ensure the entire community is dedicated to, we wasn't sure already? No, okay,
No, but I feel like usher and entrance.
Usher.
okay, that's a little too much. We are dedicated. To. What if we just said, what if we kept ensure there and we moved ashore the entire community? We want to affirm,
Mm.
not the entire community, that gets out, that's out, entire community goes.
Okay, that's good, yeah.
Yeah, we want to affirm that we are dedicated
To ensure
to ensuring
the library remains a welcoming place for all patron teams, as well as a positive work environment for the staff.
I like it.
We will continue to, did we need this, we seem like we've already.
Yeah, we might.
Continue to work with, offer the guidance thing we've already said, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's already.
we're just committed to helping the library move forward. Or,
So is that too repetitious to that line of stakeholders that we had earlier?
yeah, that's why I was wondering if we just take that out and say, you know, like, something along the lines of like, we want to work to help move the library forward. But maybe,
Yeah, so keep that, so I don't delete that yet, Jessica, but I thought you only deleted the to work with and got, will continue to. Sorry, we,
Work with.
yeah, the now down to resolve. And keep, there you go.
to work to resolve. Okay,
Yes.
yeah.
This is what you want. Okay.
Yeah,
We will continue our work to resolve this matter.
yeah, our part of it, because it's only us.
To help resolve?
Is that what you're saying?
I don't know, I think were you just saying to include those words, or were you just saying that's what that meant?
Our work.
I'm just taking what you
Yeah,
said.
yeah. Don't know.
Say that, sorry, we will continue our work.
To help resolve this matter and move the library forward now and forever.
Amen.
The only thing I'm questioning right now is help resolve this
Okay,
matter. Just.
Our work to-
wondering-
Maybe
Just
just,
move.
yes, just, we will continue our work to move the library forward.
Yeah,
yep, that's great.
yeah, our work. Oh,
Which operations do you want? Yeah.
Librarians supervision of something else besides library operations. Kevin, what are some
Library
other?
administration.
Of the library,
okay,
and just.
yeah, that sounds good,
Simple as.
yeah. And head librarian is not uppercase there.
I don't.
I feel like we treated as Cat.
Okay.
usually cap library. Even as a standalone.
Okay, I'll do that.
We can fix that. Can we get back to the top line and just do a full read through?
Okay.
As members of the library board of directors, we would like to address the ongoing situation with the archival center volunteers. Do we like that? We can say yes, we don't have to not like it.
We don't have to what?
We don't have to say we don't like it. I was just curious if we like it as introductory stuff.
Yeah, I mean, ongoing situation, maybe there's something different we could say there, but,
The archival center volunteers, the treatment, that doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
It's not right.
the
Maybe just the situation. of
The
archival.
discontent or the,
I mean, the situation is fairly neutral. We're
Okay.
not trying to,
okay.
we don't need to pick sides necessarily, right? We've already kind of weighed in by
I
some.
was thinking discontent for everybody, but yeah, okay.
What if we said, what if we said the volunteer program in the archival center, right?
Okay.
That's personal.
Okay.
That's
Yes,
And that is your purview. Because you manage the policy for it.
mentioned. And there's
I'd like to address the situation with this archival center and its.
Volunteer.
And it's or the,
even just the volunteer program. We could say volunteer program because that's another thing.
with the volunteer program at the archival center, and then archival center uppercase or no, we're just referring to it as a.
I would say yes.
and is it volunteer program? Yes, it is. Sorry, it is a.
With the archival center volunteer program, is that cleaner? Does that matter?
It's the
Or we-
volunteer program.
Oh.
And then there is somebody in the,
Maybe uppercase for volunteer program if it's not like the title of it, but.
Yeah, I don't think we need to cast
Okay.
for volunteer program.
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
archival center, I think of it as like a physical thing within the library.
Yes.
It's a division, it's
It's a
a
thing,
reference,
yeah.
it's a children's room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in that second sentence, we're still not in a long overdue. For apology. Okay.
I think it's no,
I'll settle down with the mayor myself. First, we fully support the mayor's apology to the archival center volunteers whose reputations were damaged. Right word, damaged? Can be the right word, doesn't have to be one.
yeah. I mean, maybe we're not gonna get it perfect, and maybe that's good enough.
Okay. Second, we want to acknowledge the staff who continue to deliver the high level of professional and courteous service that patrons have come to expect and appreciate. Too strong, too pro staff. They get all those nice words and the volunteers only get their reputations were damaged.
To be dedicated,
I don't think anything in
Yeah.
the sentence is not true,
yeah,
and I support it. And if we're fine with it, that's fine. Okay, we have other problems that are bigger, so we'll leave that.
okay,
As the library board of directors, we are responsible for the selection of the head librarian and the oversight of the head librarian's supervision of the library. The board's charge does not include personnel matters related to union staff or day-to-day library operations. Despite our limited role, we realize that we could have taken action sooner. Should have, or just could have.
there was a lot unknown and it was,
I think that's fair. After, we don't have to hurry, we don't have to beat ourselves up in this thing, right? I mean. After receiving feedback from key stakeholders, including former volunteers, library staff. Capitol Library, city administration, city council, and the community. Do you think and the community at large, or am I just making it longer when it doesn't need to be?
the community's fine.
Okay. We will take steps to learn from this experience. That's strong enough?
Yes, I like
Uh,
that.
we have learned from this experience and will take the following steps. Different, better,
I think the same.
worse, same. Okay. We'll take steps to learn from this experience. We'll take action. We will take steps.
Take
Okay.
action's good too. I like action.
So that's saying we will take action to learn. Right. So I think the order there needs to be, if we're gonna keep we will take action, I think the learn has to come first. We have learned from
Okay.
this experience and we will take action.
Yeah,
So you can just cut and paste that.
I lost you guys.
We
We,
have learned from this experience. And we'll take action.
thank you. I appreciate it.
We will review the city charter. At a meeting, or just say we will review the city charter. Pursue additional training.
Is city charter capitalized?
That's city charter. I mean, the city should have kept.
Yes.
Pursue additional training and continue to serve as a sounding board for the library administration. We want to affirm that we are dedicated, not committed, but dedicated to ensuring the library remains a welcoming place for all patrons and volunteers, as well as a positive work environment for the staff. We will continue our work to help move the library forward. Yeah, do we need to even say that? Right, yeah, maybe we don't need that, right? We want to affirm. Is that important to anybody? We remain dedicated.
but remain.
Oh, biscuits. You're right.
We remain dedicated to ensuring the library is a welcoming
Yeah,
place.
it is, that's good.
We remain, the library just is.
We get the weaker word.
Well, it would make sense if we said we is dedicated. As well as a positive work environment for the staff. We will continue our work to help move the library forward. And every time we look at this, we want our heads say now and forever.
Will, the city, will anyone else review this before we? Right,
That
or
was
this
not
is
our
it?
charge. Our
This
charge
is
was
it.
to
Okay.
draft this,
Mhm.
but we didn't even get clarity on what we're supposed to do with this once we have this.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if we simply post this city, someplace on the city website
Yeah.
for no one to find.
The,
I don't know if we send it to the Daily News.
there was no specific, the charge was to approve a statement for release. That was that was exactly what was put into the, so
Can we ask city hall, can we ask them there, or what we should do, or do we have to decide that before we leave this?
I think we would, if we were uncertain about what the next steps were, we would make, and we wanted to get guidance, we would make specific recommendations.
Okay,
I think that would be the better way, if that's what we chose to do, right? If we weren't sure, we would say to City Hall,
okay,
do we do this?
okay.
But we don't have to do that. Right?
Seems like. The best place, way to release it. I
I
was
mean,
thinking
it
the
would be-
library, Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this would be helpful to get your.
I think it would be best to have, it be an official announcement from city administration that the board, this is the, the, there's, I mean, we could put out a press release
Mhm.
to the Daily News. We have a variety of different venues of disseminating this.
yeah,
I think it would behoove us to, have. Well, the mayor is the chairman of the board.
okay,
Well, I think it sounds like what you're saying, right, is that if we're okay with this wording, we would recommend to the mayor
Yeah,
that this be,
release in a way they see fit. Yes.
And the mayor
well,
has
but
the,
it's gonna be included like in a like with whatever the agenda and minutes were of this meeting, right? This would be included with that.
yes, that would be.
So this will
part
be
of it.
available to the public.
Yes.
And now we are just trying to decide if there is an additional set of steps or actions that we're gonna take to distribute this more fully. Is that right?
Yes, I, I think since, you know, the mayor in his ex officio position is chairman of the board, releasing it from the mayor's office. As an official announcement of the board's statement in response to the situation. Might be something to consider.
Oh, so we would recommend to the mayor that
This
he
yeah,
consider options to release this more broadly.
Yeah.
And then we leave that to the mayor's discretion.
Okay.
Does that sound reasonable?
Yes.
And so I would send that note, right, on apparently like the chair.
as
of
the,
this
as the chair of the
subcommittee.
subcommittee, I will get,
Okay.
I would send. This to the mayor saying that, you know, in order to release this in an official capacity, we're giving you, this is what we have decided and voted to release.
Okay, regardless of whatever he does, this will be included with library documentation.
Yes,
In perpetuity.
and, you know, the city administration may say, okay, in addition to this, we'd like you to put in X, Y, and Z on the city website, you know, the library's website, use social media, you know, they could say all variety of different things. But again, having the mayor put it out as an official, kind of,
Oh, so we're just recommending to the mayor
yes,
that he take some additional action with this, or
to release
consider,
it in an
consider
official
additional
capacity.
action, right? And so if we were to submit this to the current board as a draft, what number of board members do you think would vote in favor of this? Just curious.
Jim would vote it forward to get it done.
I'm just curious, you know, it seems like the kind of thing, no matter what you put together, someone's not gonna be happy with it. Anyway, maybe we don't need to discuss that later.
I wonder if we should put a period after high level professional and courteous service. Shorten that sentence so it's somewhat on par with. Oh, I guess we'd have to take out the,
Yeah, definitely.
but, I just don't, maybe not necessary.
You'd have to be, you'd have to put an article there.
A high level. That, what do you think?
Um,
I think at first, I don't know, maybe we'll just somehow.
again, I don't know, maybe people are gonna care, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, doing a comparison.
Yeah. It's, the other sentence doesn't add much to,
I guess that would be if we felt there was an imbalance,
yeah,
I would say, can we add something additional to the archival center volunteer line
okay.
and
Back
restore
to
that
that.
I think what it is this is okay.
good as it.
That.
Okay.
I'm so done. I'm sorry, I just wanted to read through it
Yeah.
one more time. As a result of receiving feedback, or no, let's see. After receiving, we have learned. Does that make sense? we learned from this experience. All right, fine, we'll do that.
Yeah, that doesn't sound great, right? Uh,
Almost
What if we move
almost
that?
as a result of the feedback we received.
Learned,
Yeah, I think if maybe if we moved that part, we have learned, right?
Yeah. we've learned from their feedback from key stakeholders. We've learned, including blah, 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 and they'll take action. From the feedback.
Mhm.
It's not great either.
Can you control zoom all that out and go back to what resolution? I think there's a way to move up the from this experience part.
Okay.
Control Z again because.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
I apologize.
no, that's all right. You just wanna-
I forgot.
I think that, um,
During
We received feedback from key stakeholders and have learned from this experience. I guess it's a lot of hands.
yes, what if it was like during the past, how long? 2 years?
Yeah,
During the past 2 years, we've received feedback. From key stakeholders and whatever period. Right,
we have learned from,
we have listened and learned. We have done something, right? We took in all this
Yeah.
feedback. And we resolved to take the following action or something like that, right?
uh. Based on, yeah,
What was that? We have,
We resolved, I don't know if that's too strong,
based on this feedback,
to take the following action.
yeah. That's, I think, a little bit better. Maybe you want to change some of the word, we commit to taking, or we
Are committed,
are committed. Okay, well, yeah.
should be committed. Taking,
During the past 2 years, key stakeholders have put in former volunteers, other staff initiatives. Based on this feedback, they're committed.
so listen to, would it be better to listen to rather than we receive feedback from?
Okay, we listen to feedback.
More
Yeah, like that.
active, or
Yeah, like listen to feedback.
we
As
don't
a
even need
result of
feedback,
this
sorry.
feedback, like maybe as a result of this feedback.
But we don't need if we kept that, right? We don't need the feedback in that first sentence. We listen to
Okay.
these stakeholders, right? So
Okay,
oh yeah, and that
feedback
gets rid
that
of,
goes. So you see key stakeholders, including former volunteers, other staff, city administration, city council, and the community, based on their feedback. Right, that's what I'm saying.
yeah, I was gonna say there, feedback, but. It's like learning from their feedback. It's what made us wanna take action
Sorry, I would leave,
based on it.
what if we just said we listened to and learned from key stakeholders?
Okay. Yes,
And then you could restore that,
based on their feedback.
based on their.
Do we wanna colon after the following action? Actions. Do we want to say something that last time, we continue to our work to help move? Like, something about like the library that we all value, or maybe it just gets too wordy. Just leave it at that.
It's okay. As it's, I mean, we mentioned something, we cut out the part about the. I guess we have the part as a welcoming place, we cut that.
For the board of directors, selection of the head librarian. Selection is not until person matters related to use that for day-to-day operation, day-to-day library.
Hold on, I just want to make sure I have a copy of the same.
That's weird, to listen to. American key stakeholders, including terminology. Based on their feedback, take the following actions. We should- Yeah, again, probably not perfect, probably something, but I think it's good, good.
So if we're comfortable, we can put it to a vote to accept. I don't know, can I move? I guess maybe if you move, and I'm
I'm
second.
to accept this as our feedback from the board of directors.
Second. Roll call.
Gary Gorski,
Yes.
Kristen Donahue.
Yeah.
Okay. Unanimous.
I would take the task then of sending this to the rest of the board, addressing it specifically to the mayor as the chair of the board. And
I mean, it's technically. Jim Conley is the chair. The mayor is in the charter says he's the chairman of the board, so I'm not,
as the chairman,
yeah,
I'll send it to the mayor as the chairman,
Yeah.
CC all the other board members. Is there anybody else that we think should be included? City council,
City council.
or do I just recommend that the mayor share this with the city council?
you might want to specifically say, you know, to Mayor Sean Reardon, chairman of the board, and Edward Cameron, president of city council.
It splits the
Is that
difference.
reasonable, Kristen? We can-
Yes.
And the board, do I say that as well? Trust it to the three of them directly? And then I could speak directly to the mayor as the chairman and recommend that he distribute this
Yes,
more broadly.
Well, we put, our names are just the library board of directors.
it would be, library board of directors, Newburyport Public Library. Because this is a statement from the board.
Okay.
And do we have to put that as a header? Do we have to title this a statement from the library?
Oh, yeah, what is this?
Board of Directors?
Notice to say trustees there, but is that, it's typically the language is board?
The, in Newburyport, it is the board of directors.
Okay.
In other locations, it is, known as trustees.
Oh.
So Kristen, I'll send you, or I'll send you and Kevin a draft of what I plan to send
Okay.
before I send it to the
Okay,
mayor and Cameron and the board. And then if we're all in agreement, make whatever changes and then we'll send this.
Okay.
See what happens.
Great.
There's no further action, make a motion to adjourn.
Gary Gorski,
Yes,
Kristen Donahue.
yeah.
so conclude. Thank you all for wasting an hour and a half of your time.
Don't say anything. Let me get this back.